Hey guys, it's Raythe here again with Kat, and we are doing another Raythe Reign Insider.
Choo choo choo!
Cue the music! All right! Well, we spent the first two Raythe Reign Insiders talking about something that we want to do but can't do right yet, which is animation or live action or something like that. So this one, we actually get to talk about something that, since the popularity of Everdark has just exploded, and you guys have been so incredibly supportive of it, that we are able to do something special, something cool, and something we cannot wait to talk to you about. What is it? Well, it is the beginning of a new multi-volume manga based on Everdark that you will be able to purchase, and that will also run on raythereign.com for members. It is being drawn by the amazing Wolv, who does Werewolf Next Door, and she did Dark Earth. So we're so excited about this. I just can't even tell you how amazing the art is, and seeing Wolv's versions of our favorite characters, which are different than Matthia's, but still very recognizable. Just to get her take on this has been really fun. And she amazes me each and every time how I can give her a one-line description of what I think a scene should look like. And she'll come in and it will be as if she's in my head, which is really spectacular. So to give you an idea of what this first basically manga is going to be about, it's called Everdark War Child. Okay, so it's set 2 years before the events in Everdark. Best friends and monster hunters, Julian and Christian, are on the track of what they think is a werewolf in Cold Haven, Wisconsin. What they don't know is that this is a Warren war child, a vampire who can shapeshift into animals and always kills his prey. Vampire Lord Balthazar and Vampire Confessor Arceus care deeply about our two intrepid adventurers. They must stop Julian and Christian from finding the Warren war child, for if they discover that vampires are real, all hell will break loose. And indeed, Vampire Preceptor Camorn and Vampire Confessor Fiona have already been tasked by Master Vampire Artemis Lucius to kill the young man if they discover the truth. So that is how this story is framed. So we're going to see the boys doing some of their monster hunting, and we're going to see some shenanigans by our favorite Balthazar and Arceus, as well as seeing him spar with basically Camorn and Fiona, of which, and all these people have become big favorites, but this is before they were friends. So we're going to see that there are maybe hints that they could be, but we also have all the fun sparring between them. This is hopefully going to come out in June 2023, the first volume. Now, this is something that I should tell everyone, because this is a hard lesson that I learned. And I suppose that I'm probably really ignorant about this. Manga takes a long time to create. It's not in color, but the detailed line work, all the backgrounds, it's like doing, honestly, every single page, let's say there's 4 panels, that's 4 separate illustrations that Olive is doing, that Wolv is doing. And she really puts in so much detail. I'm stunned by how she makes this look like a real place. And we're patching together Cold Haven through basic. I'm like, I think it looks like this, and I'll grab some image from Colorado, or these are the mountains there. And anyone who lives in Wisconsin knows there aren't really mountains, but it's trying to get it so it all works together. Or here's a nightclub, or here's this fancy Balthazar's manor, and all this kind of stuff. And she's got to take that and make it into something real, which I've only described or given her some representations of.
Didn't you say she's trained as an architect, though?
She is.
So I think that probably has something to do with the way she's able to create a sense of place, because that's always struck me since the Dark Earth.
Oh, yes. Yes, you're right. And it's to think that she's a trained architect, but she's also a mangaka. She trained under a Japanese sensei in order to get her style, which I mean, if anyone's looked at her work, if you've seen her work, you can definitely tell that she is probably one of the best out there and just brilliant. So I am honored that she chooses to work for us, and do this stuff for so long. She's actually been with us since the beginning. We've actually had manga on Raythe Reign since the beginning. Even before it started, I actually hired her to do a manga because when I got into...
That's the Dark Earth
that
we were talking about before.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
Yes. And by the way, if you are a member and haven't checked that out yet, go into the manga section and all 11 volumes of the Dark Earth are there for you to read and see. It's spectacular, really and truly. We're still trying to work on breaking volume 11 up. It's really 3 volumes because of its size. So those of you who have purchased the other Dark Earth volumes know that you will be able to purchase the end of it as well. And we'll keep that, we'll keep you up. Now, I know every time we announce a new manga project, there is a question that gets invariably asked.
What about Date of Vampire 3?
Aren't you going to do Date of Vampire 3 next? I mean, why is that not happening? Someone actually complained that we did Werewolf Next Door instead of getting volume 3. Well, for those of you who don't know, Olive did not do Date of Vampire 3 or any of the Date of Vampires. That's all Mathia Arconiel. And they are our main artist for all the beautiful illustrations, most all the book covers, everything.
And we keep throwing more Everdark related stuff at them.
And coming up, the Night Prince stuff coming up at them. And we're going to have something special about Dragon's Reign coming up. So every single pretty much illustration you see is done by Mathia, which means that their time is incredibly limited. And as I mentioned before, manga takes just a godly amount of time to produce. So that is something. So yes, Date of Vampire 3 will happen, but it will not be happening anytime soon. And I am very deeply sorry for that. But it's just where we need Mathia's time spent right now. And unfortunately, we're victims of our own success where, basically, with Everdark taking off and growing our membership hugely and making these other projects possible, Mathia's time is even in more demand. Plus, she does Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, I was going to say, this wasn't an issue until our house artists went off to do this fancy Warhammer job.
Yeah, they are actually professional game artists and other things. I don't know what their official job title is, but they're good. They're big there.
Yeah.
So Date of Vampire 3 will happen, but not for a while. But we will have the incredible work of Wolv coming up.
So let's talk about the manga pipeline.
Yeah.
For people who have never even thought about how this stuff gets made, what are the general steps that it takes to get from your idea to uploading it to the shop?
So the first thing that Wolv needs to do is, in fact, create the characters. So she has to essentially determine what the characters are going to look like and understand their actual backgrounds and their characters, who they are, so that she can animate them accurately in the way that they, who they are is represented, not only how they look, but how they move, their expressions and all this stuff. So she'll do that. So that's the first thing she does for each and every character that's going to be in the work. So the next thing that happens is that I write the manuscript. So I had to have an idea, and then I have to refine that in such a way that it's set into scenes. So I will have a short description of a scene. I will then also grab art of things that I'll be like, I think Balthazar's mansion looks something like this in this style.
This is the Pinterest board stage?
It is the Pinterest board stage. And then I will go and do the characters, what they're saying to one another, their dialogue. And it has to be, I have to give them like emotions so that she knows not only just from what they're saying, but how they should be saying it, how they should look, some ideas. Then she'll take my suggestions and she will refine them herself. But she will try to follow what I've asked. But everything, I have to find images that are evocative for her so that she has some concept of sense of place and sense of how it looks. And then I have to literally, after I write this thing out, I have to go through it multiple times because manga is visual heavy, not text heavy. So if there's something that's necessary that someone's thinking, I have to figure out how that can be shown. And more than that, I have to make the dialogue pretty to the point because you just can't have someone monologuing. And God knows, I've monologued before to sort of give the idea. So you have to give visual clues to give people a lot of insight and then also keep the dialogue really to the point. And then after that, she actually does the pages. She often does things about 10 to 13 pages at a time, which I then review, go over, give her notes. She fixes them and sends it back to us.
Does she do sketches?
She does do sketches, but I do not see them. Because there is like when she sketches it out and then she does the line art over it and then she does shading.
It's pretty much done. Yeah.
Yeah. By the time I see it, it's all finished.
And about how long does this all take?
Let's see. So I would say that there are 5 chapters in this first volume, which is a little under between 50 and 100 pages. And this has probably taken 6 months to do.
Is that fairly typical?
That's fairly typical to do about 10 to 13 pages in a month. Now, she's done more when she's killed herself.
No, that's not necessary.
That's not what we want.
We don't save lives here. There's no such thing as a manga emergency.
There are no such things as a manga emergency. So you really have to anticipate that, and absent life things that happen and absent other projects she might have. So the new volume will probably be out every 6 months or so is our goal. But just so you know, that's sort of what will happen. That's our goal for the Everdark manga. And we really hope that you check it out. It's going to be so cool. We're going to have a lot more as we get near the launch date and afterwards too. So you can see some of the beautiful artwork, just stunning. And we definitely hope that you may pick up a copy. That would really be great.
Yeah. One last question.
Yeah.
Is this going to be posted on the member site?
It will.
Is that coming after Werewolf Next Door?
Yes.
So that's next in the pipeline. So it's still going to be a while.
It is still
before
it
gets to that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you can't wait, you can always pick it up yourself. We love it when you do, but we understand
totally worth it.
Members if you want to wait, but it will be eventually up on the members site. All right.
Cool. So I guess that's it for this Raythe Reign Insider.
Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys, and we look forward to talking to you next time.